Thanks for tuning into No Wine in No Time. I'm your host Dave, and today we're going to discuss the understated wine region of Alsace, France. Alsace has undergone a bit of an identity crisis over the last 300 years because it has traded hands multiple times between France and Germany. Ultimately, after World War I, when the Treaty of Versailles was signed, it became permanent property of the French government. But if you've ever been lucky enough to travel to this particular region, as you walk the cobblestone streets throughout Alsace villages, you start to think, boy, I think I'm in Germany. The architecture certainly harkens back to more Germanic type of influence. When we think about the official language in Alsace, today it's certainly French, but in schools, German is taught as a second language, and in kind of a melting of both of those, the unofficial language, but widely spoken in Alsace, is a language called Alsatian. So let's take a look at exactly where Alsace is on the map. In France, it would be in the extreme eastern part of France. It does share a border with both Germany and Switzerland, and its extreme eastern border is actually the west bank of the Rhine River. Very important geologically, to the west of Alsace is the Vosges Mountains. And the Vosges Mountains are important because they buffer Alsace from winds and weather and create a very stable ecosystem for producing and growing wine grapes. Most of those vineyards are planted in the foothills of the Vosges Mountains, and the best of the best have a southwestern facing. So let's take a look at Alsace today. Currently there are 119 different villages that produce wine in Alsace. And of those 119 villages, there are 38,000 acres that are under vine, and the total wine production is about 110 million liters. Now, thinking about where Alsace is and the climate there, the grapes are heavily dominated on the white side, 90% white and 10% red. But as we break down the wine styles, it's important to look at how they actually break down. And 78% of all wines produced in Alsace would be what we would call AOC Alsace, Appellation Alsace Contrôlée. In other words, a quality wine from the Alsace region. 18% additionally are what we would call sparkling or Cremant d'Alsace. And 4%, the remaining 4%, considered the best of the best or Cru d'Alsace. So when we look at the white wine dominance, the top four grapes that are grown in Alsace are Riesling, Gewürztraminer, Pinot Blanc, and Pinot Gris. So very much cooler weather, alpine dominant type of white wine grapes. The texture of wines that are produced in the Alsace region are very, very aromatic. The wines themselves taste just a little bit spicy from the type of soils that were grown in. So I always tell people, if you love a German Riesling, try an Alsatian Riesling. If you like Pinot Gris, Pinot Blanc, Gewürztraminer, try one from Alsace. It's interesting to see the difference in styles, and I think you'll come to appreciate this region. So I have one today from Domaine Schlumberger. So Schlumberger is spelled S-C-H-L-U-M-B-E-R-G-E-R. So certainly looks a little bit more German than it does French. This is a Pinot Blanc from the Alsace region. So let's go ahead and test some of the S's out on this one. So if we do the first S, which is sight, we see that this is a beautiful golden color, certainly a little bit darker, a little bit richer, certainly more on the golden side than on the straw yellow side. If we swirl to liberate some of the aromas, there comes that beautiful Alsatian perfume. This wine almost smells like perfume. I'm getting some honeysuckle essences, a little bit of lychee, almost fresh melon. Really beautiful, and the smell just wafts out of the glass. I mean, it really jumps out at you. Now let's go ahead and sample the wine. What an explosion of flavor. We have everything from a Honeycrisp apple to a little bit of pear to a little bit of melon and citrus to a little bit of mango in there as well. It is quite a melange of flavors that roll across the palate. Really beautiful, very excellently structured. This particular Alsatian Pinot Blanc is considered to be a dry style, but the flavor in itself in the background just harkens a little bit of sweet fruitiness to it. So what's the application for wines that come from Alsace? Light red wines, heavier white wines, I like to pair with things like roasted pork, ham. Think about salty cured meats. Also think about some of the potato dishes and cabbage dishes that this particular region is famous for. Really a perfect wine pairing. So next time you're going to have a little pork roast and sauerkraut, think about one of these Alsatian gems. I think you'll be glad that you did. So I'm going to enjoy a little bit more of this Domaine de Schlumberger. Thanks for tuning into No Wine in No Time, and we'll see you on the next episode.